You're gonna show them big put. Hey, you guys, look at my cheeks. They are too blush ridden. Blush ridden. Is that a word? Blush covered. I gotta think about this. Hey guys. Black Dragonfly, hello. I was late. Hey, Stitching. You know how okay, so I was like, we're going live tonight at 9 instead of 8:30, so I have more time to get ready. Well, then you just waste more time, and then you're still.
It's just more time to
Do
procrastinate.
you have room? I'm
Yeah.
y'all should see our setup. Poor Sean has to
Look at me. I'm all like, I've been on the road all day, just working all day.
Did it pour all day? I love it when it pours all day here because it makes my stuff grow. So let me go over to here. Do any of y'all have a problem when you go between like one account to the other on your YouTube app that it doesn't go and you have to shut the app and then reopen it? It drives me crazy. It does that all the time. We got here yesterday. We fired up the old thing, put the live, got ready to go, and it was scheduled for tomorrow or today, but yesterday it was today. And very cool. So that's for real?
No, that was minus.
Oh, okay. This. So hey, just being me.
What's that? That's what's
cool. So I was like, we got here and we're all ready, and then we saw that it was.
We were on our game too, and she goes, so today's the 23rd. I said, no, babe, today's the 22nd. She goes, well, I scheduled the stream for tomorrow.
And even though we could have just gone ahead, hey Clancy, hey Moxie, we could have just gone ahead. Donna, it's good to see you. Karen,
how is everybody?
We could have just gone ahead and done it
before you get going.
But we didn't.
Look at the sun. Look at the sun that Mandy has. I mean, I got a little sun, but look at what vacation has done and being out in the South Carolina and in the South Georgia sun. She looks good.
Thank you.
She looks friggin' good.
You have sun too.
I do, but I'm noticing your sun.
Thank you. We've missed you guys too.
Yeah.
What we ended up doing was making a video, and it was like a members video because only because we've got to offer something for, which we're gonna keep doing better at it. But so we did a little thing and then decided, we would do it today as scheduled, so everybody could be here. That was anticipating it being.
It is like, I would say,
Aww.
It was 6 weeks ago. 6 weeks ago was our last live stream.
We had a couple of trips. We had the last one, y'all, knew after it was over. It was to Hilton Head. I'd never been to Hilton Head before. Mm-hmm. That was good fun. A lot of fun. The water was warm.
It was too warm. Hey, Clancy, what's up?
How can it be too warm?
Okay, so those of y'all that fish, Clancy, you know this, right? You know when the water at the beach gets like above 80 degrees, it's like there's no fish in it. They go out.
So where do the fish go, Sean?
They just go to cooler water.
They just go, except the pinfish.
Most animals,
the pinfish don't.
Yeah, the pinfish don't, because it's the only time they can eat. Whether you're hot-blooded or cold-blooded or whatever, you know that everything is, when it's really super hot, there's not any, blood-pumping creature that really is out in, 95 degree and 90% humidity. It just doesn't happen. It was like when people said, what did you guys do in Iraq when it's 125 degrees, and you guys are out there trying to do whatever? I said, nobody does anything. We didn't do anything. The enemy didn't do anything. When it's 125 degrees, everybody stays inside. We put a timeout on the war until it drops to.
I know this is a dumb question and it may not be dumb. Did you have an air conditioner?
I did, after a while. The first couple months that we were there. It's just a wall unit.
Or like a freestanding one or whatever?
Where I stayed in Iraq, it was south of Sawyer City. Sawyer City was our place of operations, and 9 Nissan. If you guys, 9 Nissan is another part of Baghdad. It was a neighborhood. So the first few weeks, we lived on our trucks, and we had to put like barbed wire around. So you slept and you washed with baby wipes. But we occupied Saddam Hussein's secret security compound. It was like a death row jail, and it was like an apartment place where his like officers lived. we bombed the shit out of it. So we had to like fix it. We had to fix it. There was a fence all the way around it, and nobody wanted to live near its walls because it was
Didn't you say they
evil.
were lobbing stuff over?
Yeah, well, the Sunnis lived on one side and the Shias on the other side of the walls. On like,
And so they
one
just
was
kind of
on,
lobbed
yeah,
stuff?
they would always be fighting, and sometimes they were shooting stuff over the fall.
Wow.
Only one time it fell in there, but it wasn't near anybody. But so when we, found the buildings that we wanted, we kind of, the ones that weren't completely blown away, we, we mortared around the windows, like not mortared around, but we fixed around the windows, and we put window units in there, and then kind of sealed it so there was really no window, but just the unit. So the apartments where the Iraqi officers stayed, there was about I'd say about a 15-foot wall or a 20-foot wall around everything. So we could only occupy the first and second floor because everything would be above the wall, and they would throw stuff, shoot stuff in. So yeah, so it was the first couple months. The first AC we got was like August of that year, so it was like.
They were like, look at those Americans putting an air conditioner in their place.
Yeah.
You're like, we are not used to this.
They don't mess around in the weather either. The areas like that in first world areas, they have a lot of rumor control or conspiracy stuff that stick. One of these conspiracies was that we had this secret pills that we took that allowed us to not have to drink water, and that we could be out in the scorching heat. We had special. Wow. The other thing is our protect goggles, like our wraparound sunglasses, our ballistic goggles, allowed us to see their women with no clothes on. Yeah, and it's like, this is some of the stuff that they said about us to keep people pissed off at us, and it's amazing how.
It's good to see all of you.
Anybody that's ever been, when you look at the drama community and you look at stuff like how rumors start and things like that, and how people believe certain things, or they think they have a right to say certain things or whatever, it exists in countries of the world that are first world that don't have really good communication lines. They start rumors about the tribe across the way, and they stick, and they're ludicrous. They're like, what do you mean? Well, they have three-headed dogs that they're training to attack us. And I was like, no, they don't. They do. And it's like, they don't.
In North Korea, when people are permitted to go visit, because you can apply to go visit North Korea, one of the museum about like the atrocities committed by the Americans say, thank you, Presley. Thank you,
Presley.
Thank you so much. We're going to Texas, and that is where that's going to go. And there will be more to come after we get back from Texas, September the 14th.
Yeah.
There'll be more to come, but thank you. I so appreciate it. We so appreciate it. So what was I saying, Sean?
I derailed it because I started talking about conspiracies and.
No, in North Korea.
Mm-hmm.
And they say that like when we were over there during the Korean War, we had packs of dogs that we sent to attack the civilians, and like we brought them with us, and that for every one soldier they had 3 dogs that were capable of attacking or whatever. And I was thinking, so if it's 1 soldier to 3 dogs, right?
Hold on, let me get back in there. I'm paying attention to my sports stuff.
No, you're good. Yes, that's what they said. There's a couple of documentaries, you should watch it, because when you go through these, and they've got these displays that just show the atrocities, and then they have they show the Americans, and the Americans are 9 feet tall, and they're slinging those things like the Vikings, like the chain with the ball with the spikes on it.
What did they also say about us? They said that we don't have any trees in America because
it snows all year long.
It snows all year long, and we have to melt snow to drink water. And we've chopped all the trees down.
We've chopped all the trees. If y'all ever, and I know we've talked about this before, but you look up North Korean propaganda, it is fast. Like what they put out there is unbelievable. And lately there's the South Koreans, I guess, make these balloons full of trash, huge balloons full of trash, send them over, the demilitarized zone, and they pop, and it's trash. But it's trash like American soda cans. Things
that's
that
still not very nice.
it's not nice, but it's things that the North Koreans are like, what is this?
They're Coke cans. We drink Coke.
One of the most interesting things that I heard was this. So Moxie has talked about this too, that that she's, you know what, I don't, Moxie too, but so did, I crazily enough, Julia Zelg too, that they have these like crazy ass reasons that they send these people to these prison camps, and they do the thing that like they punish 2 generations, right, or whatever it is. So people are born into these camps. Well, this one guy eventually escaped, but he had been born into there and was there his entire until he was 19 or so. And he was out and he, you know, made the circuit doing interviews and doing whatever. And at the end of the documentary, they talked to him about, so now that it's been a few years, and he said, I don't want to go back with the way that it is now, but I dream of going back to that camp, because he said that they had never ever heard of or thought about unaliving.
Yeah.
Ever. But
there's part of that story. I was listening to you tell it. This is, you would think like if you were an American and you lived the way we live, and you were forced to live under certain conditions, you may be into such a point like a Russian prison or a North Korean camp that you wouldn't want to be around. He said that nobody, but the point is he escaped. But here's the thing. He went home and was telling his mother and his brother that he was going to escape, and they turned him in. They're so conditioned to listen to the government and to listen to the people, they turn in their own family members. And didn't they like execute them or something like that?
When he left, he assumes that they were executed after he left. But yeah, the end of the video, and if I can find it, I'll like post the link. But he said people there were things that just didn't happen. That unaliving was not a thing.
Yeah.
People didn't break each other's hearts. This love thing, he said, is crazy because, you know, you can be with someone and they'll decide not. And he said it's just this complicated relationship that no one had any idea about in those camps.
Yeah.
No idea.
When he
got his heart broken on the outside, he was like, it was like, this is not a thing.
One of the takeaways that I had from that whole documentary is that guy was, he was free, quote unquote, and he had never launched like when you are born in the United States or one other country, you have a childhood, you have formative years, and then you launch into adulthood, right? And people do that differently. There's different maturity and all that. He never did that because he was just in this camp. So he's like a grown-ass man. He was like 35 years old or something like that, wasn't he?
He was something like that,
He literally did not know how to assimilate into society. He had no skill. He had no experiences to fall back on. He had had never really developed his emotions because he didn't go through things that you go through, like, teenagers that in other countries, like having a boyfriend and going to high school or doing whatever. He just was, he was starting to understand and expressing the agony of that and the anguish of that, that he realized as lucky he was to be free, he wasn't like everybody else. He just couldn't do it.
The first time he ate until he was full. That was one of the things he always dreamed about because he had never been full. No, but he'd heard tales about people who had been full. And what made him escape was someone came into the prison camp who had been on the outside about his age, and he went to the prison camp. So that's what it took. But he said the first time that he ate until he was full, it was like a drug. He was intoxicated. He was like completely. And
I'm not even under our thing. I was about to pin a message in
Donna, thank you for asking. Donna said off topic, your anemia looks better. How are you feeling off topic? It's still there. It's not super bad yet, but I'll have an iron infusion when it hits that level. The ice chewing's obviously there. All of the normal signs that are there, and I'm trying to take iron. Thank you for asking.
Sun does you well.
Yoga.
You get out in the sun for a few days. We were talking about the beach and how the water was real hot, and it was It was nice to be there. The water was pleasant to swim in. You had to be careful the first day because hadn't had much sun other than working in the chicken coop. So, but as you can see, I see it on you. I mean, you guys said that she doesn't look pale and all that, and I think it's because she got some sun.
And a lot of makeup.
No, you
no,
don't
I
have
do
makeup.
get sun. You're right. I was just joking.
But you do. I could tell it yesterday when we were doing the members stream. Looking at you, it was like, man, you got some sun. You looking good. You're looking better than you usually do, and you usually look good. So.
But thank you for asking. That was totally cool. And yoga popped in. Clancy knows a little bit about everything. He is a history buff. He knows like a ton of stuff about different things. It's pretty impressive. Thank you. We feel good. We stay busy. That's another reason we just really I mean, a break. Someone was saying today that I was watching earlier. Actually, it was Clara. She was talking about detoxing from social media. That it's good for anybody to do.
My God, I was going to bring that up.
And so that's part of it, and that was really the extent of it. We, like I said, you knew we were coming back. We weren't going anywhere, but it was a nice break. And
when you look at, subs and members and all that, everyone stuck around. We appreciate that. I mean, it was 6 weeks. I looked. I mean, Mandy has done stuff on the ATX channel.
Not a lot, but I did
do the one interview that and it's amazing. Mandy can do one thing, and I'm not going to go diving into drama, but she does one interview. Her and Clara did an interview, and it sparked for different reasons across the community, like 4 or 5 different live streams. And
I kept getting messages while we were live going, so and so went live, they're mad. So and so went live, they're mad.
And it's like, for me, I'm like, let's just. For context, that's what the drama community is all about. I mean, she's just literally strolling down memory lane and filling another YouTuber in on some of the stuff that had happened, because you guys know we went through some stuff and came through the other side. It was pretty much a failure for them. But
I don't want to be distracting. I'm looking for what he's doing.
But Mandy can do one stream and it creates all that. It's to me, it's different. For her, she's like, man, and I'm like, yeah. I mean, you'll always be that relevant one in the drama community. But on that note,
where did you find that? Okay.
I probably took myself. So 6 weeks ago, we did a live stream. It was probably 3 or 3.5 weeks for me that hey, Presley's back.
Hey, Presley, welcome back.
Thank you, Presley.
Girl, I agree with you. I would be like, I wouldn't be doing it with she's like, I don't know why she didn't do it, but
Mandy knows it. About 3.5 weeks that I didn't look at any social media.
Yes.
And Mandy is not on Twitter, so ever, and she's.
I have a Twitter.
But so probably in the last 48 to 72 hours, I checked with some of the nemesises and some of the people that don't like us. And is it me, or has the drama numbers in general fallen off?
People are moving in different directions.
Yeah, I mean, that's just me. And I looked at, that group of people's over there, they're still talking about the same motherfuckers. They're still talking about the same shit, and they're not getting as many views for it. Then you look over at this person, and they're talking about the same people, talking about the same stuff, their same hustles, and there's less people watching it. And I'm like, but when you don't watch it for a while and you look at a certain tweet, or you look at a certain comment, or you watch a part of a certain stream, it's like, all you motherfuckers need to take a vacation and just not be on here, because it's a dead end. It is a dead end.
Well, nobody's going to get big.
No one's going to get big.
The other thing that I noticed was YouTube is getting to be where you can't talk about anything. Mm-hmm. Like if you listen to some of the big creators or bigger creators, like Without a Crystal Ball, talking about, covers the Duggars. She's having to beep out all kinds of words, not just the typical words, but they have to call everything something else because you can't use these certain words. Sean and I have different opinions about. I think that when they turned the S word for unaliving and just a dirty word into a word that is taboo to say. Like, I understand why they did it, and I love that they put that phone number. If you go into something that even touches on it, they put the hotline for that. But I don't think that it should turn into, and I'm interested in your opinions too. It shouldn't be a dirty word. It's something
Right.
that we need to spread awareness about, and we need to do. But I guess my point is just the word being spoken shouldn't be like that. To me, that's somehow saying there's something wrong with it.
Right.
If there's something, because like essay and child essay and all of that, is also, censored, and that's fine. But then you put that with it, and then we're encompassing it into like it's some sort of disgusting thing. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, because there's so much of that people use that like they're telling people to do that, and I think they're trying to figure out, awareness is one thing. Awareness is one thing when you're talking about
So pretty.
that type of awareness. Oh, before I go on, Moxie was like, she said, I've been, what'd she say? I've been getting down and dirty with some sniping and rumbles. But Moxie, that's fine. You do you, girl. You're doing the Lord's work. I'm just saying, we don't see you day after day after day doing the same thing. You get your shit together, you do your live streams, and we're there, we're lurking. I wasn't talking about that.
I'm going to tell you what he's talking about. For example, he's talking about the fact that old Winster, when she got some tea that's 3 years old, and I'm not saying that anything about Perplexed, whatever happened, I'm not, but she went on. And then she would fire it back up and go on and on again. We get it. Like, it was such a win for her.
Right.
It was such a win that she could suddenly be like,
I told you so. And I'm not talking about
hey, Nelson.
the people in our circle. We watch what you do, and we lurk that, and then we love you guys. I'm not talking about y'all.
Moxie.
I'm talking about when you look at a certain channel and it's like 3 days ago, 5 days ago, 6 days ago, 7 days ago, 8 days ago, 9 days ago, they're live stream day after day, and they're talking about the same stuff for day after day after day after day, and and you start watching their views go like from 800 to 700.
Well, what's beautiful
to 600.
about Moxie's is she's getting into those archive streams where point by point by point things are just completely contradicted.
She said, "Put your glasses on, Sean." Yeah, you're right.
Who said that?
Moxie did. But I like Mandy said, there's one person that
go reboot Presley.
they felt like, so somebody discovered or admitted to doing something 3 years ago, and that was such a gotcha moment for people. And so they were like giddy over it for about a week, doing stream after stream. They feel vindicated. Okay, so now what?
Well,
now what?
I didn't even. First of all, I didn't even know it had ever happened. I didn't know anything about it.
Yeah.
But I was like, I mean, it's just that was an example. That's just
one
an
example.
But in the meantime, I have to show you something. This right here is Sawyer Brown. Sawyer Brown got him a whole haircut. Say hello, Sawyer. There he is. Sawyer, say hello. Say hi to Moxie. Tell Moxie that you've been thinking about Sasha.
Here, I bet you if I get behind here, it'll be like he's looking at the camera.
I love the brown hearts.
Are you
That's
looking
so
at the
cute.
camera? Does that better? Can everyone see? Everyone can see you now. So he's looking at the camber now.
He's like,
He's like, man, I told you I didn't want to
he
have
is
any part of
such
this.
a chill dog. He is so chill. Let me tell you about him. So he's got a babysitter across the street that they adore him and he adores them. But let me tell you the problem. He adores them so much that he'll go over to their house when they're outside and want to go inside, and they'll take him inside and he'll be there and he won't come home. How embarrassing is it that your dog fights you on coming home?
Yeah. Yep. Karen's like, Mockie's out there debunking all the
She
lies.
is. It's amazing.
Yeah. I mean, we have Moxie's back 100. as we do Paula's, as we do Claire's, as we do all of our mods, you know. What I was talking about is like, I started to just look at other people's channels from whatever, you know,
Hey, Kay.
see if they're still talking about the same stuff they did 42 days ago. And they are.
Yeah, they are.
I mean, the same, you know, trying to prove a point about this and that. It's like, oh my God. Like I say, Moxie she will gather her stuff and she'll spin up her live stream, but she's not every day for 3 straight weeks doing it, you know?
Well, but not only that, the clips that she has are like, she can say, look at this clip. Okay, this was said. No, negative. Those don't coincide.
No.
I found a whole bunch of documents yesterday without
Oh
going
my
into
gosh.
details.
This is blast from the past.
Blast from the past. They have to get ready for this yard sale because this time I'm doing it right. Last time I did it, Sean was working, and so it was like I was doing it myself, and I was trying to like. But this time we're purging, like getting into the tubs, like the North Carolina tubs that have, and there are so many documents.
I didn't even know they were there.
That's Moxie's little surprise, and
Did she?
oh yeah.
Okay, cool.
Don't go into
Good.
But that there is a trove of things that corroborate everything Sean has said about the insurance money, about draining the bank account in 2015, leaving nothing.
I'm sitting in a chair, like literally to my left of where, and she's in the back, and it looks like a tornado hit those two back. How many of you guys, if you guys just cleaned out all your closets full of stuff that you've been in the house for how many ever years and just kind of moved it out of a closet and took a look at it, would your houses look like? I mean, how did we all get so much shit? But, you know, how did we accumulate this stuff? I mean, Mandy and I have been here 3 years, and it's a lot of stuff. But anyway, I'm sitting there looking at something and looking at some job stuff and looking at my applications and talking to prospective, you know, employers and stuff like that. And Mandy comes behind me and just kind of drops over my shoulder this document. And I look at it and I was like, where the fuck did you find that? And it had just been a Foot Locker that I
told you we had them somewhere.
That I use, but there was so much stuff from the move stacked on top of it when she went through it. And it is like, this stuff is like pre-YouTube stuff. Like
there are like legal pages, like yellow tablets of scribblings of someone who, just wait. And what do you do when it's in their handwriting? They can't deny that.
Yeah.
They're the ones that wrote it down.
I mean, there was some documents from banks that I had to close the bank account because it was overdrawn, and there was a situation where. And
very quickly, and then I'll let these documents go together to show the course of events that led it to be.
There was a situation where, how do I say this? Have you guys ever had a situation where there was a deposit made and it was debited from your account, but you or somebody else stops the debit and they reverse it, so the money's in there for a second, and then they grab the money, and then that debit is hit again. So they get the money, but then it's debited. So the reversal didn't take place on paper. But the money went back in, it was grabs, but it was already in the balance, negative in the ledger, and it gets hit again. And so then it ends up being like negative 1,200 or whatever. So then you're calling the bank and you're going, hey, look, this is what happened. They're looking at that. They can see that that's what happened. They can see the transactions. And then you request them
to send you the information of how that went down.
And then they send you all this transaction history and who did it. But here's the thing about banks, you know, they're not going to fix that. Even though it's something, because then they have to admit that somebody on their end did something wrong. And so there's that bank account. So the bank account sits there in the negative. I have switched all my banking over to another bank account. And then eventually they just send you a letter that says, your account's been in arrears this amount of money. So we just close the account. Like after like 60 days, they close it. And
the amount matches the amount that was originally charged. and whose card it was that ran it.
And so it's another one of those things, like if you or me as an individual make those mistakes in the banking thing, they'll close your bank, they'll close that account, but they're coming for that money. It's either going to hit your credit, it's going to do whatever. They didn't mess with me. They knew it wasn't me. So I just moved on.
And remember how the accusation was made that that he had just ruined her auto insurance, that her rates were so high because he had ruined her insurance. How about we have a whole lot of documents where she was filing fraudulent claims saying Sean was in an accident, and it was coming in the mail saying, let us know if you're moving forward with this claim. And Sean's written on it one great big exclamation mark, because guess what? Sean wasn't in an accident. He had no freaking idea what it was. That's called insurance fraud.
So, and that happened a few times where, you know, and see, I'm telling you this, so people that don't like me or they listen to this, they'll say, well, you're culpable. I didn't know what to do. So yes, I was, but here comes, there's a fake fender bender. Maybe it happened months ago.
Or she bought it like that.
Or
she
but
bought
most
it like
insurance adjusters, when they come out and look, if it's $800, if it's $700, they don't do much, you know, examining. They'll cut you the check. But guess what happens to your auto insurance? It goes up, and it goes up, and it goes up. And
we have to keep in mind, it was his auto insurance.
Right.
There's no way he ruined someone else's insurance with his accidents, because this is his auto insurance.
I don't say much about this stuff, and Mandy knows that I don't. But we still to this day, every so often, I'll get a notice from like a dentist or some other kind of agency that there's been an attempt to, you know, use the insurance or use a name. I don't think the legal name was ever changed. So they go in, and this is, you know, it's been 5.5 years.
5.5 years.
I've been divorced, you know, 5 years or whatever it is, 4 years or whatever it is. And they're still, and then they're not getting away with it, but there'll be like a dental bill or something like that. And I'll just say, hey, look, and you know, dentist office in other agencies, they deal with this type of shit all the time. This is not an anomaly. People split up, and you know, one of the parties for years tries to keep getting benefits and stuff like that. This is the only time you'll hear me talk about it. From here on out, I'll just get the letters and just send them where they need to go when they come in.
It's pretty incredible, and it was funny because every one I got, some of them had never been opened.
Yeah.
It would be something from Geico that when I opened it, and they, to him, not anybody else's, but it would be to him, and it would say, you know, let us know if you plan to. Basically, what it was saying was, we've looked at the accident. We're saying our recommendation is that it did not occur that way, but let us know if you're going to appeal it and move forward. That's what it said.
So what it means is that there's been times that this has been attempted and they said, fuck no. And nothing's
like,
enough.
you can appeal it and you can try.
And there was a certain amount of time, it's been better now over the last few years because I've worked really hard to, you know, fix the credit and get all this stuff off of there. But there was a time when there wasn't a whole lot of, you know, I couldn't get insured. And they didn't care that I was no longer doing this or doing that. It stays, but it's been, insurance isn't like a lot of stuff that stays on your record for 7 years. A lot of it is like 2 or 3. It just depends on what it is. And
as far as fixing credit, and a lot of people know, you don't have to hire an attorney or a firm to help you fix it. You can write letters, and when you tell them that what the credit agency will do is tell the original person who put it on the credit, look, you need to show us the documentation or whatever. A lot of times those creditors will never follow up. And then if they do follow up, it's about letter writing.
you got to be diligent with it.
And his divorce decree went a long way, especially with the evictions. He was able to give an explanation as what happened, the divorce decree, and we were able to get a lot off of it.
The thing, and also in the state that my divorce was in, you have to be separated for 1 year and 1 day. So a lot of stuff was able to go back even, you know, to what was it, like December 2018. then they.
And these dates
it's
all fall into line with the stuff that we've already said. But I thought y'all would find that interesting. But yeah, I was like, I knew some of these were somewhere. There were certain things that were somewhere. But I will say this. If it wasn't opened and it wasn't in his name, it went into the shredder. If it was open and in his stuff, I don't care whose it was. I looked at it. Right. And you had a few things like that were sealed that I don't even know who they were, and those went into the shredder. Like, but it was a lot of it had been opening, and there were scribblings of a mad woman. You were like, she was always scribbling that shit.
Yeah.
But
so there's that. So when we're talking about the Lord's work and Moxie doing the Lord's work and some other couple people, I don't know, like that. It's what it is. It's what it is.
I've never figured out.
But really, looking back at some of these accounts, I think, and this is much my opinion, and I've been in this community for a couple years shy of a decade now, right? 2016 maybe. And you get a pretty good pulse of what people think of certain communities. And during the recent rash of activity that happened prior to us leaving, going on vacation and doing stuff like that, people showed loud and clear who they were and what they were, even to the point where people were saying stuff on live streams, saying they were going to do certain things, call
your mommy.
Yeah. And, twice it was said on live streams, and it was like, there it is. And people have seen that. People saw that. So moving on.
Yeah.
Moving on,
It's some people are very messy, and they never get any less
and
messy.
they're messy to the point that even the people that are using them to do their I've said it many times, certain people are being used by other people to do their work.
Right.
And then they're so messy that they come on the people's live streams and say, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. To where
even the person
is like, no, don't do that.
Don't say that.
Don't say that. It's like, and I was like,
you
okay.
sit there and go, oof.
We're like, but everyone's got that, and so then we just put our phones down and we go, let's go take a break and go on vacation.
Yeah, the place that we stayed was really cool. It was kind of like in the sense that when Sean lived in the condo at the beach, the one on the beach or whatever, you had a lot of retired people that lived there.
Yeah.
This was where we stayed was kind of like that. They had little Airbnb type things, but the other people that lived in the other ones lived there all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and I pointed that out to Mandy. I was like, you see, the people are our neighbors for the next 3 or 4 days. They're here all the time.
Yeah.
I used to be like that when I lived in my condo in North Carolina. I would see different people every week. And it was a little nostalgic.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of the things that Mandy and I did, we talked about it yesterday on the member stream, is we went, both of us were stationed at Fort Stewart, but at different times in our lives. For me, it was 30 years ago. So it was 1995 when I was there.
I was in high school.
Yeah. And she was there like in 2004 and 2005. We went to each one of our, places where we stayed. In where I lived at that time in 95 to 98, I was married to somebody else, and I had a family, and my second daughter was born in the hospital at Fort Stewart. I looked at this place, and have you posted that anywhere?
Not yet.
And I couldn't believe.
I will post it on our.
I couldn't believe that I had lived there. I mean, when I was in E5 and then I got promoted to E6, and I would be surprised if the place was even 800 square feet.
Yeah, it couldn't have been.
It's a quad, like it's two, like little 1 stories. There's like 2 on the bottom and 2 on the top. And if you put that whole building together, it wouldn't be 3,000. I don't think it was 3,000 square feet. So I lived in this little 2-bedroom, 1 bath little place, and I got to see it. And I got to see it 30 years later. it kind of blew my mind a little bit to see it. Mandy said that there were things that came back to her that, and you don't have to get into it, but I didn't realize it. I'm normally really good at sensing her energy, but she said there was some stuff that came back to her that weren't altogether good.
Yeah.
You know?
Things that weren't good, things that took me back in time. Yeah, just crazy. Yeah, it was, and I guess I didn't realize it at the time. But anyway, but we saw both of the things. My house that I lived in isn't quite as kept up as but I was the first one to live in it.
Yeah.
So when we all moved into new housing, and all of the guys were in Iraq, most of them. There were people that were on rear D or, injured or couldn't go yet. So it was just, like Sean said, I can't believe it's been 20 years since.
And I couldn't for the life of me remember the road that I lived on.
Cousin Andy's said that, I know you don't have your glasses on, but he says that's the year Hoth Wampa opened for Kiss Reunion.
That's right.
Ace was out of control, crazy times. That was in 95?
95. I had come back, so...
I thought that was your band.
Me and Andy.
You opened for him?
Yeah.
Shut up.
Yeah.
No, you didn't. You're such a liar.
And then we had another performer come and perform a very famous song called Ben 10. It's been attempted to be covered by other bands, but it's just never been the same.
Are you freaking kidding?
You see the picture? You saw the picture of the Rolling Stone?
Now I'm following you. Yeah. Okay. I got it.
So in 1995, I came back from Germany. Came back to Germany with a 4-month-old, and lived off post for like the first 8 months or so, and then we moved into this little place. Have any of you guys that are old like me, in your mid-50s, gone back and seen a place that you lived in another area of the country 30 years ago?
Cousin Andy likes to talk about, what is it?
Well, for Andy, it's the Roswell place.
But the Carly Lane?
Yeah. That's where, I mean, there were many legends born out of that place. But
I've seen the outside of it. I've never seen the inside of it.
Moxie says I go back to Santa Cruz.
Oh, okay. Welcome back, Clancy. He's going through a divorce and needed someone to talk to. Aw.
But in Moxie, for me, when I think about it 30 years ago, okay, so I'm, in my early to mid 20s when I get there, I'm a father of one, and then my second child is born while I'm living in there. The place was fucking tiny, and it just didn't seem that tiny. I remember sitting in front of the TV there in 97, sitting cross-legged, watching Princess Diana's, the breaking news of when she died.
Oh, wow.
And that was like, if I'm correct on that,
it was in 97.
It was early morning in United States time, I believe.
No, it was evening here.
But like late evening.
Oh yeah, very late. 11 at night in Texas.
So when you're
and at first they announced she was okay.
Yeah.
They said she was an accident, but she was okay. And then they were like,
so that's super late when it's a weekday and you're you got to get up at 5:30, 5 in the morning. Wow. But I remember sitting up for that, and I think probably I sat up till about 1 o'clock watching it, and then in that space, that's where I did. That's where I saw it. I think Princess Diana's death is one of those things where a lot of people knew where they were when they heard it.
Yeah.
Like Elvis's death, like 9/11. You 9/11. Where were you when, at 8:45 in the morning, Kansas time when that broke. It
was insane.
And so yeah.
It must have been. I remember we were sitting on the floor watching it because I think they had already taken our furniture to send it to England because we were going to PCS to England. Mm-hmm. I think all we had was like a TV and maybe on a TV tray or something, and we were sitting there, and it was about 11 o'clock at night.
You were a pregnant 18-year-old, weren't you?
I know. I was pregnant. Why was I sitting on that? Because the couch was gone. Yeah. We were eating, I think, pizza. We'd order pizza or something like that. And at first they announced it, and they said she's okay. It was a minor. And they came back and were like, no, we've confirmed that she's, deceased. And it was like, what? Because at first, I guess, people will know better than I did. Didn't she actually get out of the car?
Yeah, she
got out of the car and was like, oh, dear.
And said, is everybody okay?
And then, it was internally bleeding?
It was internal bleeding that, and then she lost consciousness, and
It says, Pink Life says, I was doing a one-woman show when I heard of her death. Yes.
Yep. I remember where I was when I heard Osama bin Laden had been killed. I remember that. That's like May 1st of 2000.
Oh, she didn't get out of the car. Okay. That must have been a rumor.
Okay.
But
But she asked, right, Moxie? Didn't she
say, oh dear,
didn't
is
she
everyone
ask
okay?
about everybody else? Yeah.
You saw a picture. I didn't know that.
Oh, wow.
Hey, Presley, welcome back. And there's so many, like, conspiracy things about, did the royal family have it done? Was she pregnant?
Look
Was she...
Look at that score.
I didn't see it. Is it bad?
Yes, and I was just bragging on how the Falcons were. But
she became barely conscious. Oh, okay. The problem was it took forever to get her to the hospital. So she could have been saved with the right, like if it had been quicker. It
was like in a tunnel, right? Like something.
It was in a tunnel. Yeah, media showed early pictures of Lady Di, which were not shown again. Wow. See, I didn't even know that. I had no idea that. Hey, Sabo. We had moved to base housing in England when she died. It was so awful. What base were you at, Sabo? I probably already know this, but I can't remember.
Bad, isn't it?
I love it when scores are really bad. Sean makes really funny comments about it.
So it's just a preseason game, but the Jaguars beat the Falcons 31-0.
I was in a car wash when Michael Jackson died, and the news came that Farrah Fawcett died that day as well. I forgot about that. You're right. They did both pass the same day. I was actually in class when I heard the news they had killed him. When the OJ verdict came, I know where I was when the Bronco chase went on. I was with my first boyfriend at a hamburger place. I don't remember where I was when the verdict came out. I might have been in school.
Now the Bronco chase was 94, right?
Yeah,
that was the Bronco chase. Because I was in Germany, and I remember I was sitting in with my friend. Oh, wow. He was my first roommate. We PCS. So this was my friend. He was a Puerto Rican guy from the Bronx. So
he just retired, didn't he?
He just retired, yeah. But so you imagine in the early 90s, there's no World Wide Web. So my roommate when I get to Germany is this kid from the Bronx, and I'm this upper middle class white dude from the suburbs of Atlanta, and we were so equally interested and intrigued by the other one because there was nothing to reference how he had grown up except for in the projects of in the high rise concrete.
And one of the things that he was like, Sean was like, aren't you worried they're going to sue you? And he was like, for what?
Yeah, that's the first time someone said, I said, but they'll sue you. And they were like, what are they going to sue me for? I started laughing. But I learned a whole lot from him about how to stick up for myself, how to speak my mind when it's appropriate and when it isn't. But anyway, I was sitting with him and we were watching the OJ, the Bronco chase, and the stuff he was saying were so hilarious.
I bet.
I can't repeat it here because I'd be accused of being all kinds of
I'm sorry,
whatever.
Donna. I hope you have something to help you with that. Her head hurts from dental work. Yeah, please keep listening. I hope dental work's awful. There's nothing like teeth pain.
Royal Air Force, Sabo Cat said Royal Air Force High welcome.
I don't think I'd heard. I might have heard about it, but I don't off the top of my head remember.
I landed in Mildenhall on my way to Ramstein Air Base. That's my little stop off in England. I got off my C7 and got on a C141 and puddle jumped that over into Germany. So
Mildenhall had a Taco Bell. That's what I remember. I remember where I was when Elvis died. I remember when OJ killed Ron and his ex-wife. I remember when Princess Diana passed. I watched the trial of OJ.
Yeah, Cousin Andy said Challenger explosion. Yes. 84 or 85 for the Challenger.
I was in first grade, so it had to be 85.
I was walking through Walmart, and you know how they have all the TVs?
Yeah.
I don't know why I was there, why I wasn't at school. But I wasn't. So 85, I would have been in like 10th grade. Mm-hmm. And I remember it was like, so you have all the TVs and so they all had the same channel on. I do remember that. That was crazy.
Clancy, this is like the comment of the thing. The first person that I ever learned to speak my mind from was this gang affiliated kid named Miguel. He's the one that said, "Don't ever let anyone punk you." I love that. That's awesome. Clancy was like, "All right, all right."
But it's so true, because when in the 90s, you hear things, you hear about, inner city life. You hear there was no internet. If I wanted, look up a motorcycle gang or a drug cartel, we have all this information and all these pictures and all these videos and all these YouTube documentaries and everything you can possibly want to learn about. But in the early 90s, you didn't have that. So, you would report to basic training, and you'd have, like a surfer guy from California, a gangbanger from Chicago, an upper middle class kid from Atlanta, and a cowboy from Wyoming, and they'd throw us all in the same platoon together. And, you met each other, and you learned about each other, and it was a different time.
It was a different time.
Yep.
I wanted to listen to NW. Oh my gosh, it's funny that you said that NWA when you were talking about Snoop Dogg.
So and he said Snoop Dogg was all over the Olympics, and that's how this came up.
We were in a group, and I said, "Wasn't Snoop Dogg in a group?" And Sean said band.
He wasn't one of those. He wasn't in that group, but he was associated.
Right, associated.
Yeah.
And he said it, and one of the people in the group was like, "Sean," and Sean's like, "No, for real, that's
when they said, "What does MWA stand for?" and I said it, and they were like, "My word,"
Sean's like, "I am not the one that made it up."
But
yeah, it was interesting.
What I pointed out to that whole thing is that, and because if people knew who, when I mentioned to people, like Ice Cube, and not just him, but other rappers like Ice-T, and Dr. Dre, and when you looked at what they did with NWA and what they stood for and the following, all of those guys were they're posers. They freaking, all of them. They might have come from that area, from South Central Los Angeles. They're all like music producers, actors. They have all left that life far behind and have made millions of dollars doing other things.
Yeah. Snoop was all up in the Olympics.
Everything.
I am shocked at the number of things that Shaquille O'Neal has his face and his name on.
Everything.
He's got burger patties. The other day, gummy bears.
Everything.
Go to Office Supply. He's
Icy
got office
hot.
chairs with his names on it. Yeah.
The General Auto Insurance.
Yes.
Yeah. Shaquille O'Neal he's done a lot.
Yeah, he's on burger. Yeah, I've almost gotten them before. Random stuff he's on. Like, it's interesting. My dad just that's how my dad described from Kaufman, Texas, and his best friend was a guy from New York. There were people that joined the Army that's the first time they'd ever been around any other race.
Yeah.
That's it.
And when you say because you just, again, the internet age changed it all. Mm-hmm. You can't raise your kids the way that our parents raised me. It's totally different.
Right.
And you could, in negatively and positively, you would impress your values upon your kids. You can't do that anymore. They're going to go to school. They're going to go off to do whatever. They're going to pick up their phone and look at things, and they can choose for themselves.
What makes me laugh is that the little, I guess you would call them urban legends that have gone through schoolhouses like forever, and I don't know how it gets passed on, but everything from nursery rhymes that are said that are tasteless, that your kids repeat, and you're like, you heard them when you were young or whatever, and it's like, which parent is still telling this, passing this on? Like,
it's true. I mean, we moved into an age where, kids went to school where they left, the house where they were raised and who they were raised by, and what they learned and what they were thinking and what their brains are telling them contradicted what they were being told.
Right.
When it comes to like racial stuff or gender stuff or sexual orientation, there was before you could had all this information at your fingertips, you were really at the, whatever you were being taught.
Yeah.
And that's when they talk about history. You learned history in school, but now that you have the internet, people are figuring out a lot of the history books were not right. It's what they wanted people to know, or they wanted this reality. It's a lot like the drama community. You go in and people tell certain versions of stories, but we know they're different. And part of me is like, we'll tell a story, or we'll reminisce about something that someone will say, that's not right, you're lying. And it's like, it's not really a lie. It's how we saw it. It's how we saw the stories happen.
Yeah.
There's a difference.
Right.
There's a difference.
Yeah. Kids were way more outdoors. I mean, now they're into the gaming, but there's something to be said like that I've seen, that apparently outside playing is kind of coming back into fashion. This, like, not totally, but the gaming and the electronic immersion is now kind of being balanced by going outside. But you can't you can barely let your kids go outside. You know what I mean?
Yep. Andy says that my band in high school played Bring the Noise for the talent show Public Enemy with Anthrax. But the first version of Bring the Noise wasn't with Anthrax.
Thank you.
I listened to Public Enemy. And it was, so the first band to do that, to collab with the hip hop band, was Aerosmith when they did Walk This Way with Run DMC. That was the first ones to do it. And then Bring the Noise was Public Enemy and Anthrax. And then, you see that it's mainstream. You've got Jelly Roll, collaborating with a hip hop artist. There's all kinds of collabs like that now. But that Aerosmith and Run DMC were the first ones to do that.
Yeah.
Remember that?
I've heard of them. I couldn't tell you that I've seen it. You know what song was playing on the thing at Kroger today when I was in there?
What's that?
That song that I love, Harvest Moon. Isn't that what it's called? Harvest Moon by Neil Young?
Oh, that was
love that song.
So Andy,
I heard it was some guy that I was being a caregiver for.
This is a great story.
It's Neil Young, right?
Neil Young.
Yeah, and he would watch these videos of people that he liked, and one of them was Neil Young, and it had like Neil Young, all of his songs or whatever. And I was like, it became my favorite tape for us to watch. I was like, I like that. Harvest Moon, I loved it.
What was the last year of Gen X? When did they move into the other, when you're no longer Gen X? It was like anyway, me growing up and going to high school in the 80s, and when under 10 years old in the 70s, that was my first decade. And where she was, where I was in the 80s, I was going through high school and listening to hair metal and stuff, and she was just a little girl under 10. There's a huge difference in the 80s music and 90s music.
Yeah.
A huge difference when the grunge scene came out. So when she was talking to me about Neil Young, which was before that, classic rock, I was blown away, because a lot of times I'll put it on like Hair Nation or Ozzy's Boneyard, or even First Wave, on satellite radio. And Mandy's never heard these songs. We have a couple songs that we've adopted as our songs, like Without You by Motley Crue. Another song that we like is Miles Away by Winger.
Yeah.
The first time she heard Miles Away, and she was like, I like that song. And I was like, fuck yeah, you do. She likes House of Pain by Faster Pussycat.
I do like that one too.
And there's all these hair metal stuff. Don't Know What You Got Till It's Gone by Cinderella.
I do like that one.
She likes all these songs, and she had just never heard them. And she's hearing them for the first time. Ballroom Blitz by Crocus, Crocus's version. And she's like, oh my God, that's a good song. And I was like, that fucking ain't right, it is.
But it's such a weird song. There's no real point to it. It's just just like a thing that goes in circles.
It's so cool. And then there's country songs that I listen to.
Harvest Moon. Yeah, I always cry when I hear Harvest Moon. Had to take it off my playlist. Hubby and I would always dance to it. Oh, perhaps one day I will love the song again. I hope so, Black Dragonfly. It's just kind of a chill song. And then Sean was like, a lot of his songs are stoner songs. And I'm like, Well, you can still like him.
But then he came back. He didn't do much for a while, and then he came back with that song, "Rockin' in the Free World."
Yeah, he did it. Didn't he do a duet with Roy Orbison?
No, not that one. He might have done one earlier in his life, but
Presley knows what we're talking about.
so like for instance, a band that was around in the '80s and the '90s that we both like, but for different songs, was Aerosmith.
Yeah.
Like she, what was the song? "Don't Want to Miss a Thing," and she was like, "That's the best Aerosmith song," and I was like, "It is not."
No, what I said was I have a song that when we were talking that I really like by Aerosmith, and he writes and says, "Don't say don't want to miss a thing," and I was like, "Nope, that's not it." I had to search on my phone.
It was because that's what that was. From,
and he's right. I didn't know any other song.
It was the Armageddon soundtrack, so that was Liv Tyler, who was Steven Tyler's daughter.
Okay.
In that movie, so it was a big deal because.
So I did a search.
And I'm like,
actually, I texted my nephew and said, "Can you tell me another love song by Aerosmith?"
And then I played like "Sweet Emotion" and "Dream On" and all that stuff, and I'm like, "See, you knew Dream On."
Yeah, I did know that one.
And all the older Aerosmith stuff, and Aerosmith had such good records in the '90s too.
Yeah.
They've been doing it for a long time.
Who he doesn't love, who he doesn't prefer, Metallica.
I appreciate Metallica,
but you don't particularly.
But it's not one of, and it's weird to me because they're such an iconic, heavy metal band. But I tell you, a band that I never really listened to, and then as I got older, I really like them is the Rolling Stones.
Yeah.
It was whatever, but they're good, and if I wanted to hear classic rock. They'd be in there with them. But now, when I hear a Rolling Stones song, more times than not, I like vibe for the whole song.
Really?
And
that's interesting.
Yeah.
The music talks always. Karen's right. She says we always have good talks, whatever we're talking about, because it is. Presley likes every genre. Presley knows absolutely everything.
Yeah. Cousin Andy's like "Angel" was their huge ballad. You know that song.
So that's what my answer was. When he said, "Don't say it's that song," I texted my nephew and I said, "I need a Aerosmith song that's a really good love song." And he writes back, "Angel." Mm-hmm. And so I was like, no. I was going to say "Angel" is the one I like. And he was like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah,
and
that was a good one. That one was like 88 or 89 when that one came out. And I remember I was in college.
The Rolling Stones but they're popular with everybody too.
That Aerosmith album came out right around the Appetite album from Guns N' Roses, which is like one of the best albums ever.
Justine had tickets for Aerosmith, but Steven Tyler can't finish the tour.
Yeah, they had to. They canceled. No, they canceled the whole tour because he can't sing anymore.
Aww.
Yeah.
But my thing with that was I would rather. People would rather him lip sync on stage and see
that's the big scandal because Mick Mars, who's the guitarist for Motley Crue, he plays, but he accuses the rest of his bandmates from lip syncing. He accuses Nikki Sixx of fake playing the bass.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, I understand. Is it just Steven Tyler's pride will not allow him to lip sync?
Well, it might be. That might be. But like, have you listened to? And I love Motley Crue. I love Motley Crue.
George Jones is good.
Have you heard live Motley Crue lately when Vince Neil tries to sing the songs? It's almost like listening to Alex Glitter try to talk. He's panting all through the words.
Catfish. Alex Glitter's a catfish. Right. Go ahead.
That's the other thing I can't believe is that those two are carrying on their charade when everybody has outed them. Anyway, I won't digress.
And but you see how good I was? I didn't talk about this whole time.
This whole time. It was my fault. It was my fault.
You big girl.
Go ahead. And the whole thing about that is not just because there's a lot of big girls, but this one got freaking outed, left her camera on, and she's still carrying on like it's like not everybody knows it now. And that's what I meant about coming back to the drama community. You're looking at these people and they are now seen differently.
And for the record, I kind of knew. She
Yeah.
tried to say that way back when someone was trying to dox what she looked like. She goes, "That's not me. That's my mom." I was like, "No, girl, we all know."
And
But
I mean, to the point that like Kiwi Farms and people that don't even know.
she should just own it.
I mean, it's no big deal. But when sometimes I'd listen to like, because what she does is she voicemails everybody.
Voice
Like
memos,
a dummy,
yeah.
like voicemail, like we have friends that voice memo us, but they're our friends, so they can do that. She voice memos everybody or voice texts everybody, and then turns on them and tries to expose their text messages when she's spoken. She's spoken, and and I remember listening to a couple of them around the house, and she'd be talking and huffing and puffing while she was running a marathon while she was talking, and I was like,
It was pretty incredible.
Yeah.
It all makes sense now, though, doesn't it?
it does.
Own it, girl. Own it.
But and that's the whole thing. I think as we have moved to the third of 2024, the big thing is to validate yourself and so people, they want to see a face when you're live streaming and talking shit. And I mean, hell, everybody's cammed up except for Wendy and Alex Glitter and AK. I mean, Randy, got to give her credit where credit is due. She's been camming up.
Oh, did
She's
she ever?
camming up.
Drinking bad margaritas.
Right, Yaba and Sam cammed up. People have cammed up, but they don't. And I think that it's one of those elephants in the room, not literally, but it's one of those elephants in the room. It's like people are like, yeah, they've been around for a little while, but everybody kind of knows what they look like now, and they're still carrying on a charade, and it's hard to take them serious. It really is.
And the thing is like when Sam and Yaba cammed up, they're both POSs, but people saw them, they teased, they made memes about them, they did whatever, and then people kind of moved on.
They kind of moved on.
The problem with Alex is she's doubling down that it's not her.
Right.
So whereas before she go, yep, that's me, you got a glimpse of me,
Yep.
people would have put the memes up, done this, done that, and then it would have gone away.
That's one of the things when I talk about when people have contempt for ATX is that she's always cammed up from the minute that she's jumped into the drama community, and she looks
And
like
I'm a big
this,
girl.
and she looks like this. She looks this good, and I think that people are like, "Fuck that hoe, fuck her for that."
Oh, they are.
Yeah,
For many reasons.
but
I don't
but
know
still,
about that.
but it's because you can. There's no scandal. There's no police record. There's nothing that's ever happened to you, and you look fucking good. Even when they post the pictures, pictures of you.
That I put out myself.
Yeah, it's. I mean, you're a really hot big girl. You are.
Sean
there's
likes fat
nothing.
girls.
Yeah, that's the thing. It just. Anyway, that was one that. And the other thing, and not to go down that awful rabbit hole that was exposed with everything with Yaba,
thank you.
but it when that happened. People for the most part stayed away from it, and they should have, and they did. Some people said whatever, and they had their reasons for doing it. But when you try to figure out why Yaba loves Sam, her whole past, it kind of, you get it. That's, she likes to have, chaos.
I've heard from several different people that, because I don't look at Twitter, that their Twitter feed reads like a hate mob for those two. Like,
yeah, and I'm like a lot of people that so I don't want no part of it.
yeah,
I didn't want no part of it. But so now with AK and Alex doubling down, even though everyone has seen what Alex looks like, and there's been a couple pictures of AK, and it's whatever. You understand if they're going to double down with the same thing, carry on with their charade. It makes you realize how this is what they got. This is their thing.
this is their thing.
This is their thing.
Yeah.
This is the most important thing in their lives.
Yeah. No, you're right.
There's
Let me
your
tell
drama.
you. Let
There's
me
your
tell
drama.
you something that happened today that was absolutely precious. Okay, so I've been stockpiling money because when we go to Texas, more to follow. There's going to be a massive celebration. Let me tell you this. Today I went to drop something off. Very nice neighborhood for Instacart. And so I pulled up And I was, you look at the instructions, it said leave it on the porch, whatever. So I'm going, and then this guy, very tired but younger looking guy, comes out, and he's getting into his SUV or whatever, and he goes, "Oh, you can put it in the garage, and I'll come get it." He said, we have a brand new baby. That's Carlos, a brand new baby. He was like, and when I mean brand new, we literally just pulled in from the hospital like 4 minutes ago. He was like, and she says that she needs the diapers, and she needs I think he said Desitin. He goes, the diapers and the Desitin, and I think they're in the car. I hope they're in the diaper bag. I don't know. And I was like, oh, it was sweet. And he goes, they literally had just gotten there.
Yeah.
He had a jet ski in his garage, and I was like, you can kiss that thing goodbye.
You might as well just get rid of that jet ski.
You might put that on Marketplace.
You ain't gonna be able, even if you wanted to keep it, you ain't
but
riding that son of a bitch.
But he was so cute. He's like, this tube, it's called Destiny. I think it's in this, and it's whatever. And they literally had just come home 5 minutes before. Now they had It's a Girl balloons all over their mailbox. And I said, I'm not trying to, but I'm going to tell you something that someone told me. Don't put those on your mailbox, because you are letting everybody know that there's a newborn baby there, and it opens you up to someone who might, for kid. And I've been told that for years. Don't announce you have a new baby in the house in the front yard. You know what I mean?
Carlos is
exactly. Hello. Anyway, did you study about
I was
Alzheimer's?
about to say, how come I didn't notice Carlos?
Yeah,
but
I've
I did.
heard
You just
that.
said.
They're saying Alzheimer's is an autoimmune disease. I've heard that it's connected to that. God, I would love for them to be able to solve that. But it was a very tired, sweet dad, and he was like, so he gets it. I was like, this time goes really, really fast.
Yeah.
I was like, enjoy it. Y'all are gonna do fine. It's their first, and I was like, just enjoy it.
And they were pretty young.
I didn't see the wife or the baby. He was out there with the mission, because they had just come home from the hospital. He said they literally had just taken the baby into the house. And so he sent her back out I'm like thinking diaper rash. I guess she's doing that preventative thing where you change them and put diaper rash cream just to prevent it. But I've heard different things about that.
If that's their first one,
he was so scared to get it right, and I'm like, y'all got this. I was like, and it was like, it goes so fast. And I was like, and get the balloons off your mailbox. Don't tell people you have a baby here. Yeah, no baby powder ever. I didn't get into that, but I have heard that. And didn't publicly announce my husband's death. Exactly. That's another thing. If you announce, if there's something that comes out and says an obituary says so and so has passed away, viewing at this time, they know that every single family member is going to be occupied at this place at that time.
Yeah.
Especially, so it's just, it's a shitty world that we live in, but there's things that you should just, you have to.
Have you ever thought about when there's an event, like a 911 event in a small town, like Dawsonville is big now, but the centralized area, like the Dawsonville or like Lumpkin County Police or the Dawson County or Forsyth County, and you see something that's happened, and you look, and there's literally like every police car, like all 12 of them are there at a certain thing. And you sit there and you go, I wonder if there's any criminals around here that are like, now's the time to go rob that store.
The time.
Or now this, they're all here.
I've heard that too. If there's if they're having a memorial for a fallen officer, they're all. Moxie, let me tell you something. Because of your advice about the taurine and the energy drinks and how much it has been shown to everybody, lean in, to greatly increase the risk of cancer, Sean has discontinued energy drinks.
Now, look, I'm drinking a Cheerwine. That's what I've been drinking. But you don't drink Red Bull
at all.
And the thing about that is,
he better not be drinking Red Bull.
I don't. When you give them up, and there's still an energy shot here and there, but I'm talking about like when you give them up, it sucks at first, but then when you drink, because I don't even drink a lot of Coke anymore. Or soft drinks.
He's really come down.
It's really effective. The caffeine in a Coca-Cola or a Cheerwine works. It works. Like when you have so much caffeine in your system all the time, you really have to take caffeine just to stay leveled out. But once you stop the intake, and your body's fighting you for a certain amount of time, and then as you wean yourself off of it, you don't need as much caffeine to do what you need to do. You know.
Justine, I pinned it. It says, "This is This is good. I have my first granddaughter, and it's sweet to see my son become a father." Very cool. Yeah.
I have my daughter, my oldest
Was that
daughter.
crazy when you knew they? I mean, when you found out like the first time you were going to become a grandfather, isn't it shocking? That
Yes, it is
you're
shocking.
like, oh my God, mine is old enough to have their
Right, and
they are.
my grandson Sean, and that was the whole thing. It was like when I was going back and forth with my the mother of my children, who some of y'all know who she is, and she was trying to pin on me that your daughter doesn't like you and this and that, and then she names her son after me. You know, so my grandson is named Sean, and what is very amazing is my daughter is an amazing person. She is, and the poor girl looks just like me, and I'm sorry for that, but my grandson Sean is autistic, and to watch my daughter with him,
Yeah.
the patience that she has, and
Yep.
you know, she loves him no matter what.
Yeah.
And she taught me. So your kids, when they're parents, will teach you love all over again. And she's just you've seen her with
Yeah.
me. And my daughter
God
is
chose her for a reason.
yeah
to
yeah. So
Yeah. It's crazy. Thank you.
yeah,
You're so
cousin
sweet,
Andy.
Andy.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I mean it's
The first time he told and she wouldn't mind that we said the first time that she told Sean, your grandson is autistic. Sean said, I don't care what he is, he's my grandson.
yeah. And you know, so we have people in this community.
Something to that degree.
The thing about it is, you know, if you guys remember, back in when my grandson was born was the same time that I was visiting Negs. It was
Yeah.
the same time because my grandson was born in Cincinnati, and it was really close to go over to Indiana to where he is. And you know, Negs of course has a special needs son himself, and I met that young man who's now an older man, you know, but I knew, I watched, and people can be as crazy as and has their own shit going on or whatever, and y'all know Negs, and some of y'all don't mind him, some of y'all don't like him, but he's amazing. He's amazing. People can put all their bullshit on hold to take care of their their child.
Yeah.
And I don't. It's not something to minimize. People say, "Well, of course, God damn it. What do you think?" Blah blah blah. But it is. It is what it is. And my daughter is the same way. She has her life, and she would party and stuff like that. But when she's with him, you know, when she's with her son and his brother,
Yeah.
She's mom. She's mom, and she's amazing.
Yeah.
She's amazing at it.
She is. When they were visiting at Christmas time, the little one, what was he's 2 at that time? He was like 2.
My other grandson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was he 2 at the time?
About 18 months.
Well,
Yeah.
anyway, I had the dog's like water bowl, and he sat down and he put some of the dog food into the water bowl, and I looked and I was like, "Hey!" And he looked up and I was like, "You need a spoon for that." And I went and got him a spoon, and he was like, "I go stir." And he was
stirring the dog food in the water.
He did it. I was like, "Hey!" And I was like, "You need a spoon. Hold on."
18-month-old gonna be an 18-month-old.
That's how I was though. When I was like, that's how I was like. I let kids learn through play. You know what I mean? If it wasn't gonna, destroy anything irreparably, it was,
No, you're right, Karen. Mandy is cool like that. The other thing with my grandson is he doesn't make eye contact. He became nonverbal when he was about 2, and there really wasn't a whole lot of other signs because he was a little kid and he's a baby and he was doing what they do, and then he just became nonverbal, and so they found out that he was autistic, and he doesn't make eye contact. But with me, the people that are around him a lot, like my grandson's father's side of the family is where they live, and they have said it, and my daughter has said it, but my grandson makes eye contact with me, and he doesn't do that. And we kind of were trying to figure out why that is. And we come to the conclusion that, Sean is his name, and he knows his name, and he responds to that the way that he does. But my name is also Sean. And so people will say Sean, like they'll say Big Sean or something like that. Not the rapper Big Sean, but they'll be like Big Sean when we're all hanging out. And I think that he sees somebody else that has a name like him. And so he locks into that.
Yeah.
He looks at it. And I didn't really realize the no eye contact with autistic people, so they don't make eye contact. And so it was everybody else that noticed he's looking at you. He's locked into you, and we figured that was why. That was we don't know for sure, but that's the hypothesis, is that we have the same name.
Yeah, that's probably true. That's probably true. He can identify with absolutely.
Yeah, and Moxie, that's it. Because see, for me, as a grandfather, I'm not around him all the time. But so when we go to visit, or they come down here, and they're here, or we're at some family gathering, I interact with him. He comes right up to me with everything, or I'll take him in the swimming pool or whatever, and he looks at me, and he's doing this, but he keeps looking at me, and everyone else was like, he doesn't do that. It's not what he doesn't do that. So that was kind of made me feel proud or some kind of way. But anyway,
you should. You're amazing with him. Justine, 18 and 26. That's a healthy age difference right there. Has anybody ever, in their experience, personal, I heard of it, known when there's like an aunt who's younger than their like nephew or whatever, like an aunt that's younger? Yeah. Is that even, like, what if the aunt's like a newborn, and the aunt's nephew is 3?
Right. Or yeah, that's true. It's we have.
So it can't be the aunt can't be a godmother.
So
because
if Mandy and I have one, and then the
one's born in the meantime beforehand.
Right.
With one of our.
That's true. It would be like the how do we say it? What's the word? Like the uncle is way younger than the nephew. Like as a nephew, that there would become a nephew that's
I'm sure it's happened. I just want to have any of y'all
and they have an uncle that's like 1.
And then you're tripping out. Like, let's say it's a 5-year-old, and you're like, say hi to Auntie so and so, and the 5-year-old's like, do you see what my older sister was born on? My younger sister is 71. So that's a difference too. It's I'm sure it happens because,
we were thinking about that.
If you're super young when you have your first few.
Right.
And then you're super old when you have your next one, and your kids
already has kids.
Are having kids.
That's right. So so Uncle Sean.
My aunt is 2 years older than me. My mom. Okay.
Yeah.
See, that's
so
what
it'd be like you'd be the nephew, baby, and you're 12, and you're the 12-year-old nephew, and you're babysitting your 2-year-old uncle.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That's how it would be.
And you're like, I would like, Auntie so and so is your godmother, but she's 3 days old.
Right.
Well, she's your godmother.
But she's only 3 days old. You respect your uncle. You can't say
Clancy
respect your
says,
elders,
and because of that, I can't swim in deep water because the bully pushed me into a pool. See, that pisses me off, Clancy, and I didn't even know you then, nor did I know the bully, but that pisses me off because you're a super nice guy. That stuff makes me mad. You know what I mean? And I bet you that bully ended up having a really shitty life, probably in a penitentiary. My guess would be.
Yeah.
They usually end up.
He's getting his karma somewhere, Clancy.
Yeah.
But speaking of age gap, did any of you guys ever, maybe we'll save this for another live stream, but I mean, Mandy and I have been looking at a lot of different things. Julia, do you think Julia Zell, who's...
Oh, wow.
Did you see the picture? Julia did the what do you call it? The thumbnail for her video showed her ex-wife Eileen and her boyfriend And it's like it looks like she's literally standing in between her grandparents. and she's like, my wild relationships. It was.
I didn't see that one.
It's the thumbnail, and I saw it as I was checking back in to things, and I was like, that is one freaking wacky.
She's
chick,
inundated
man.
with hate comments now.
Yeah, I mean, she it's one thing like she's in her 20s. Eileen was in her 60s, late 60s.
This guy's, I think, 70.
At least. I think he might be like 75. So she's with him, and she can't for the life of her understand the hate. I mean, I get liking older people is a thing, but when now she's bringing her ex-wife pictures and images in and doing the comparison and putting her in the video, it's like people are like, that's weird.
Do you know why? Because her, like so many other creators, are desperate for views and money.
Yep.
And they're just not getting it.
Yep.
Moxie said, hold on, let's talk relationship and age gaps, because although unplanned, I was dating when cougars were hot.
I mean,
okay, so Alice Stark, we watched Alice.
Who said Alice Stark?
Stitching was talking about
Yeah,
Alice Stark. I'm mesmerized by Alice Stark.
I'm telling you, because
her makeup
she's
is
in her 50s,
articulate.
right?
Yeah.
Alice Stark is, she's got a thing. I mean, if she really, because I look at her video, she's doesn't get but maybe a couple hundred views for it, and she could really she could take her appearance and her likeness, and do something with it, kind of like Poppy.
She said, Poppy's a whole thing too. She said that her therapist or something, this is Alice Stark, said that she is the most sex trafficked person, victim that they've ever met. That she's had more sex trafficking than anyone, that she takes the cake.
Who, Alice Stark?
Alice Stark.
Yeah, but how much of that is I mean, and I'm not accusing anybody of anything, but she is there is not a single thing, or maybe it's just what she puts, the content that she puts out. There is not a single thing to her that's not a conspiracy. Everything that happens in her life.
And she's the way she says it is so.
She's smug.
She's like, well, they were behind me at the grocery store because I guess they want to see me buy bread.
That's what they act like I fucking don't know what they're doing and what they're up to.
So and she has this white hair, and I'm assuming it's clip-ons with her hair, but it is the blondest, prettiest.
But it's the way she does her makeup to look really pale,
right?
With the lighting.
She could totally be, if someone needed for a movie, an extra for a gothic movie or about Dracula or something, she'd be perfect.
She'd be perfect in a bit part, with about a 60-second thing where she interacts with the movie characters. She would be a hit.
Alice Dark, Darque, is how you spell it. And the other one, while we finish up, I have a question about, because we talked about it yesterday in the recording we did for the members, because we didn't know when our own stream was. Have you ever heard Poppy? Have y'all ever? Do y'all remember? I don't think she's as popular as she used to be. Let me look her up, and I'm going to show you who I'm talking about.
How do you spell dark?
Darque.
Quue, right?
Yeah. So this is. Do y'all remember her? Did y'all ever see her? Because I'm going to play a few seconds. I have to play just a few seconds because I've heard that they strike everything. But this
you're
is
gonna play Poppy?
Yeah, this
just
is
have them look at Poppy.
I'm gonna do it for 2 seconds.
But Poppy will strike you.
Hold on.
Have you guys seen Poppy?
Okay. So this is an example of what she does, and very short, and you get mesmerized. Look, and I'm gonna do it real quick.
Hi, I'm Poppy. Where's your church outfit? Show me the dress you want to be buried in.
Okay, so it's just a few seconds. It's just hold on, let me take. It's random things like that. Now
Poppy,
she does.
We're giving you an endorsement.
Don't strike us
because we love you.
Mainly also she does music. So that's Poppy. I showed you that one.
3 million subs.
And then there's someone who does what is that guy's name? He does exposés. Y'all are gonna go down the rabbit hole with this you're gonna You're gonna enjoy
I know,
it.
Moxie. Like we never get struck. You know, we don't show anything. You know, we don't.
Yeah. So Primink, a lot of y'all probably watch him. This is Primink right here. You see the little thing, and recently he did an expose on Lily Jean. If you don't know who Lily Jean is, that's a whole thing.
This guy's got like a million views.
She bought like a million subs on Instagram.
Well, but this guy's got like a million subs, right?
Yeah. But so this is the thing, and he doesn't even have that much content. So he does these like the rise and fall of all of these people and these like little exposés. Well, he did one on Poppy. Anyway, you'll have to go in.
He did one on Poppy?
Yeah,
Why?
and this
he doesn't like her?
She stole her shtick from someone else.
Oh, I got you.
It's a whole thing. But this right here is a girl
bro.
who did videos and had a lot of subs, but started getting desperate. Her views were down, and she faked an entire mental breakdown for views. His name is Primink, right here. I guess I could copy it and put it in the.
And when you start to watch these creators, and you realize it's just another thing that makes you realize that, you know, 40s and 50s and 60-year-old people slinging mud back and forth at each other, it ain't the way.
No.
You know, it's one thing to review people and things like that, but when you start yelling back and forth, these people have figured out something to get them millions of subs and probably make a little money at it.
Yeah, exactly. I see. Yeah, I tried to copy his channel, and now I can't copy it. But anyway, you saw it. So if I were you, I would start with Primink, start watching his little exposés, and then look up who he's talking about. You'll be occupied for days. That's the kind of shit we lay in bed and look at night.
I mean, we're not. I mean, sometimes we watch people.
Exactly, grandmas, right?
There's, you know, every once in a while, I'll turn to Mandy and, you know, before we were together, you know, and there was people that made certain content, and there are people that, you know, where are they? And we'll look them up. And there's people that still do content, and it's in a whole different community, you know, like for instance, like it doesn't matter, but you look at different, you know, people that were maybe some of them were in Boyd, some of them were in drama community, some are wherever, and they're kind of all together in a different platform.
Right.
Kind of away from where they started. But 9 times out of 10, we listen to it and we'll go, oh, they're still on some horse shit, or it's whatever. You know, we got our own horse shit here in our neck of the woods.
And shit that goes on 3 years ago, I don't give a shit about what went on 3 years ago with some, I don't care.
Yeah, so we both agree at that. And then we find these other people to watch. Mm-hmm. We find these other.
There's so much fucked up stuff that has gone on in this community.
There are e-beggars out there. And you just got to look. There's channels out there that find them and they just find the different e-beggars.
Penny Fairy is a good one to look up.
Yeah. Oh, Penny Fairy is Penny Fairy. If you guys don't know, they find an e-beggar
on TikTok.
Mainly
on TikTok.
So.
They panhandle on TikTok.
In the drama community, we accuse each other of e-begging, but we actually try to cover it up with some content, right? Like we'll try to give content, but we get accused of it. These people come on to TikTok and they just get right on to TikTok and go, "Hey guys, so."
I'm told Dramatic Pause has some stuff on there. You verify
maybe Dramatic Pause does. Maybe I won't say the other channel, but so what these people do, they're amazing, and they'll just come on and they'll literally
every day,
some
and they'll come
on and they'll be like, well. So I mean, my car broke down and I just need $130. Or my one that I loved was my dog got a blood infection, so it's in the veterinarian.
And I can't pick it up until I pay for it.
And so people are like, are you asking us for money? No, I'm not asking you for money. I'm just, and you watch them and that they don't even try to do anything. Look. They just beg. So the Penny Fairy shows up and leaves them a penny and says, here's a penny for like meat sticks and cheese. And so they think they're getting something.
So it comes down and they see they got a PayPal.
Mm-hmm.
They go into it and they've been given a penny. Y'all, they lose their
mind because they're.
I'm going to show you the channel where you can get it all. It's called Sprite Can. Right here. Okay? I'm going to show it right here.
Dramatic Pause is going to be mad at you.
I know. But here's where you can find it. there are people that you can go back and see all the times they do it and how many times.
And they literally hold their phone upright and you just see their face.
Because they're looking at the
And
comments.
they're just looking at comments and they're, no. Well, what do you think? I need $25 more to do. And they're not even, and they're getting mad at the people that come in and say, dude, you're just, you want us to just
and they'll
give you
go,
money?
well, what do you want me to do? Go steal it? I'm asking for it.
I'm asking for the money. And it is amazing. And there's people that dedicate their channels to finding these people. And then Penny Fairy will record these clips of when they notice that a penny's been given to them.
Yeah.
So they get these small, like 30-second clips and put them together. Because Penny Fairy will send like 3 to the same person over the course of the half an hour. And they're like, now I have 3 cents. And then they put all those clips together, then they play a little song.
Here it is. Okay, so this is one of the worst, this lady.
Oh,
she's the blood infection lady. She's, yeah.
Yeah.
My job on Wednesday, it's a new job. I need $105 to be able to fix it. Oh, here we go with the Penny Fairy. Apparently, it's a guy that sends you pennies to your PayPal with what he thinks are humorous comments. It's not funny to me.
But it is.
This lady who I seriously thought was a guy the first time I saw her.
Why? So he can send me a penny with his rude comments?
Then you gotta hear the song
I'd
he
rather
plays.
not. He already sent me his pennies with his comments. Penny Fairy, you can just stop with the comments on my PayPal. Penny, penny, easily spent, copper brown and worth 1 cent.
And that's all. It is so funny.
So that channel right there. See, we're bringing you the good. This is that channel. So there's 2 channels that do it. Her name, and this is the search. Hold on.
Oh, that was Machine Gun Kelly doing a freestyle rap.
He's like, we'll get struck for that.
Yeah.
I'll put her name because she puts it out there. There's a whole. If you go on Sprite Can, they've got all of her videos. That one I just showed.
But this chick is like,
But this is her name on TikTok. Or it was.
When Mandy first was showing it to me, I thought it was a guy. I couldn't really hear the voice. It looks like a dude. Got no hair. And
well, it has a pretty bad response.
And the thing is as you just saw the calm parts when they really start going for it, she loses her mind.
And she paces in circles.
She just
in
walks
her
in
living
circles and you know what happens though? When she needs $125, she'll get it.
She'll get it.
She'll get it. She'll just keep.
If it may take 2 hours, but someone kind will come through.
She'll smoke a pack of cigarettes and
yeah,
somebody and
they all smoke. That's the other thing. They all sit there. They go off camera and you hear this.
We'll be watching it like when we were on our way back from the beach. It was about a 6-hour trip, so we were watching them, and so someone might be carrying on for 45 minutes, and we're like, oh my god! Next thing you know, someone sends her 50. Someone else sends her.
It's everything from anything you can think of, and when they send it, they get their stuff banned. Like they'll shut their Cash App down, so they'll have to need something else. But I'm gonna put both of them in the chat. So. The first one, so you can follow this one. This is the Sprite Can. Now, they do a collection of these certain people. Oh, cool. You found okay. That Sprite Can, and then Moxie put Penny Fairy in there. It's hard to find their TikTok name because they block it out, but every once in a while it'll slip and you can see it. You are going to be amazed at different things.
Really, these people.
One is Taco Bell.
Right. One has said, like the one lady has.
Said her boyfriend's mama wouldn't feed her.
Well, but that's
Remember
the
that?
couple.
And he was like, "Leave my mother out."
Yeah, and they actually fight because she's saying they're broke and they need money, and he's just drinking beer the whole time, and he'll drink like a 6-pack, and
she's
it's like
smoking a bowl,
and she's smoking, and they're like, well, we need money for Taco Bell, and they're literally between the bowl and the beer there's $30 right there,
and then you'll hear her go. On camera, and you're like,
but by God, they'll get it. Somebody will get it. Till that one girl that we showed you that's got no hair, she will get the money, And then 2 days later, she's back on going, oh my God.
She
I
says she got a job at Taco Bell.
It's been like for a month. She's
Right,
waiting
a
to go.
manager at Taco Bell.
She e-begged for shoes.
And her black pants.
In her black pants so she could work.
Her car insurance, her electricity, her phone twice. She said her ID was expired, so they couldn't process her I-9. She needed $30.
It's like they fail to realize that the people that are watching aren't idiots, and that she'll carry on this charade for a month. And she still, and then all of a sudden it's like, you were supposed to start work a month ago. And she goes, I have worked. And my first check went all the rent. And it's like, no, you haven't. You've been on this every day. There's no way you could have worked.
There's no way in this day and age that a manager at Taco Bell is available as often as she is on her camera. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, when Randy was working at Wendy's, she would just go right into the bathroom
but
with her
she was
headset
at
on.
least busy.
Yeah, but the thing about it was that was the good old days.
Yeah.
It was like, this is Randy. And she would literally be at work and she'd still have the drive-through headset on. She'd
There was
run
a
in the
picture of her
bathroom,
one time.
run in the bathroom and go live, and it was hilarious.
Yeah.
It was hilarious. But if you think we're going, around the drama communities and stuff like that, before you accuse people of e-begging or dry begging, you should. There are people that literally do, and they get the money. It's amazing to me.
Yeah, it's annoying. And they get pissed off when people question them. When they go, you just said your phone was already turned off. And then they get pissed off. And
then they'll be like, what are you broadcasting from?
One lady is continually high when she goes live.
There's this one girl, and she's in Georgia, we found out, just up the road. And she's got blue hair. And guys, she's got like 6 teeth. I'm not going on anybody that does that. But she comes on with her 6 teeth, and they're like jagged.
And her mother.
And she has Afrin nose spray. So she's e-begging, and she's constantly using the Afrin nose spray. And she'll say stuff like, if you're going to make fun of my teeth or make fun of my nose spray, I'm going to block you. But if you want to hear my story and you want to help, stick around. And it's so funny. It's like, oh
and you know what? Honestly, Dramatic Pause does not re-upload her stuff because I protect her, because she
like her.
Because her mom is on too.
Yeah.
And her mom, it doesn't matter that this woman has no teeth, is obviously on drugs, is a mess, lost all of her kids. Her mother looks at her with that is her baby.
Yeah, that
girl.
is pretty cool. So it's a mom and the daughter, but she will tell you a story. She'll tell you a story about how she lost her kids and how the mother of her kids, tries to get her to do stuff so that she can see the kids. She's interesting, but she's pretty adamant. She will block you if you make fun of her teeth or her nose spray.
Yeah. She says that she lost her teeth because, what did she say? Gingivitis.
Yeah, gingivitis. Like yeah.
Well, guys, it's about that time. Sawyer wants to go to the bathroom.
I feel like we've been live forever. We've been live for an hour and 47 minutes, which is colossal for us.
It is. And we had fun with it.
Yeah. But anyway, that's what we've been doing, guys. We got some sun. She's got some sun. And we got more stuff to do.
We're back on the case with the members vlogs. We're back on or not just the vlogs, but our toilet streams, Randy's toilet streams.
Yeah.
Not just the vlogs, but the member stuff. You're gonna think it's boring. It's a lot of chicken stuff and doing whatever. Yes, Nick. Remember Nick? You are going to invest in me because Nick
is like,
I'm gonna show
crazy.
you Nick.
And he'll say, and I don't want your money. I don't want your money. And I'm going to come and I'm going to stay at your house. And you're going to be like,
I'll show you. Before we go, I'll show you.
He's like, and I'm telling you, and it'll be like, here's $70. And now your tank's full, right? That's right. And you think that I can't make the money? You'd be wrong. You'd be very wrong. And all I got to do, I know I messed up because all these people their criminal records get doxxed. This guy is, Mandy showed this to me and I just sat there watching this guy.
I'm going to show you. There's a whole video on Dramatic Pause about him, but I'm going to show you the short.
He's
Where's the short? Did someone take my short down? Oh hell!
Did they?
I don't see it.
No, it might have been.
I don't see it.
Is that him over there? Oh. But I mean, the guy just goes on, and
here it is.
Oh yeah, watch this, guys.
It's not the whole thing. Well,
But
this
it's-
one is just showing them next to each other. Do you want to see that one?
No, don't do that one.
Okay.
Find the one if you have of
I
them.
do have that one.
So when you see this little video before we go, and if you like it, is it Sprite can that has it?
Yeah, hold on.
A better person. Like ever since I started actively making progress in these areas, people have been trying to sabotage me left and right. People have been trying to get me arrested, trying to get me all kinds of things. Ruining my reputation in my hometown so bad that I want to come back to New Orleans, because guess what? If I come back to New Orleans, I already know a ton of people.
And that was his glitch.
I already know it. Bro, I wanted to give my family, I wanted to give South Carolina, my people here, a chance, bro. I wanted to be like, hey, man, I know I fucked up in a lot of ways, but guess what? We all did. They don't like
So I'm gonna
that.
send the link to that. We'll sign
Guys,
off with that.
if you found that intriguing, he keeps that energy up for 40 freaking minutes.
And his girlfriend is there. His girlfriend is there.
He gets in an argument with her. He pauses it.
He
comes
tells
back.
her he's gonna leave and he doesn't care what. And then he's like, no, kidding. I
I'm
love
just
her.
kidding. I realized in about 10 seconds ago that I love her
It's so
very
good.
much. And I'm going to go to New Orleans and I'm going to make some money and I'm going to send her a large chunk of it. And all I need is for you to invest in me. I'll stay at your house and you might think that it sucks, but what's going to happen? I'm going to come in and go, hey, what today? Here's $70. What do you think?
No, I'm gonna put gas.
I'm going to put gas in your car. Now you're good for a week. And it's like, no,
You're gonna pay me rent.
what we want you to do is just make an agreement and you pay $800 a month. No.
Yes, Grandma.
But that's not how it's going to work. You'd be wrong. You'd be very wrong.
He said, if I leave trash around the house and you don't like that, just say, hey, pick
Just
the trash
say it.
up.
Which means, and
Why
it's
do
like-
you have to tell?
And it'll be anything. I mean, we can sign paperwork. We can sign paperwork, and hell, if it doesn't work out, and you want to say no, just leave. I'll leave, and it won't be a thing. And dude, guys, it is.
You gotta
it is
watch it.
40 minutes of this guy, and you're just be sitting there going,
Yeah.
You'll just be.
He doesn't know who he hates more, his mom or his dad.
Yeah, my dad's been gone 2 years. He hurts me every day.
And they
Every
always say
day.
that Nick is the problem. Nick is always the problem.
They
Nick,
don't-
I think you're always the
They don't
problem.
like it when it's everybody's problem. They just want to blame it on Nick. Like Nick is the problem. Anyways, watch it.
We love you guys. Thank you.
I sat there for the whole time going, oh my God.
And that's the only one I found so far of him. But you might be able to find him on TikTok because I think he does tell his name or something in there. You might
Nicholas
be able
or
to find
Nick
him.
something. I've tried.
Yeah, and he shows his tummy and he's got like an injection mark that's bleeding.
Yeah,
he injected something in his stomach and it's
I think
bleeding.
he does steroids. I think he's like
I think it's
roided out.
steroids, too.
And it's roid rage. And so he was doing his belly and his injection spot. You could see showed it.
Yeah.
He went, well, I didn't want you guys
And
to
he
see
does.
that.
It's so reminiscent of somebody else because he'll be sitting there talking, and all of a sudden he just stands back, pulls his shirt up.
Yeah.
He's like, "Look at this.
Yeah,
Look
see,
at
this
that."
is it. I
And then
need
he'll
to
go, "No, I don't look good. I'm a little fat, but I'm gonna get in shape." And randomly, he's got to pull his clothes
Moxie's
up.
like, it's a cracker from start to finish.
It is unbelievable, and the amount of energy. He said his dad's been. He said he loves his mom, but she gives him a hard time, and he can't deal with that or whatever. Which means she said, "Get the hell out of my house."
Yep.
And
But you can tell by the way he says things. He likes to do things his way. He doesn't want to be questioned. Everywhere he goes, he makes deals like he's going to pay people, and then he doesn't. He gets thrown out or he causes drama. He doesn't understand the concept of rent. He's like, you
It's
guys
gonna go
think that I
strip on
can't.
Bourbon Street.
He goes, you don't think I could make $200 every night, and then I'll give you a big chunk of it. We just want like $800 once a month.
And you can
But no.
you can tell his girlfriend's like, can someone please take him off my hands?
Yeah, she
He
goes,
just
and then
needs to
I gotta leave her, and she's like, just go. As soon as you leave, I'm just gonna go back to mom and dad's. I'm not allowed to live at my mom and dad's when I'm with you. But
And he
as soon as
shows
you
his
leave,
food. He goes, see, I've bought food. So he's trying to show that what he's begged for before. Oh, he said he was staying with his grandma. And then he popped up not at his grandma. So anyway, it's a whole thing.
Yeah.
We love you guys. Thank you,
Yep.
mods. Thank you,
and
Presley.
this is what we do.
Yeah, that's what we do.
This is-
And we crack each other up watching that kind of
Yep.
stuff. Yeah. His dad was dead 2 years and then 7. He's all over the
Yeah,
map.
yeah.
I'm gonna find him on TikTok. Thank you guys. Thank
Yep.
you, Stitching. It's good to see you all. And make sure you're subbed to Moxie.
Moxie, yeah.
And have a good night. Bye, you guys.
Peace.
Hold on.